Hello, welcome back to our CSCI 340, our database. As a first step, today we're going to install the MySQL server and then the workbench. Okay. Here I attached a link, or you can just Google it, so you can paste it. And mainly we'll download the version from the MySQL is the community version. Okay, so remember, because community version is more like open to public, so everyone can download it. And MySQL, they do have an enterprise version, like for developer, but sometimes you have to pay for it and subscribe. Okay, so we are mainly, even though I say we will use the workbench, actually one thing you need to be careful is the server. Okay, so there are two type of things. Like first, we need to have the MySQL server. Okay, so all the database will be like executing, running on it. Okay, and then the workbench is the GUI help us to manage it. Okay, and depends on the version you're installing. Let's say for the Mac or maybe your Windows. Okay, sometimes the version they could install the server, workbench, and then also the shell together. Okay, so here's you need to be careful and pay attention. Okay, so let's say if you download the workbench right here, because I'm using Mac OS and then mine is using the M4. Okay, so I should choose the ARM version. So if you're using the Mac and then using the Intel, then you should choose the x86. Okay, this one. Okay, so let's say if you are using the Windows, then you have to switch to Windows, the MSI version, so install it. Okay, so here's the workbench. For installation, I think it's pretty easy and straightforward. Okay, just download it and install it. And just reminding you, here's one thing you need to also download the server in case later you will realize it. Okay, so if you in this moment you have no idea, okay, why we need to download the server and then what's the workbench, then you can study a little bit. Right here, the server is like mainly I provide the database, and then I do bench. What I say the workbench is help us to manage it. Okay, so here's the two different tab, and right here we will use the latest one. Okay, and then 9.4 version, and based on the OS version you're using, let's say your Mac or Windows, you can switch it and then download it. So for Windows, it's pretty simple. You can either like choose the MSI, then you can download it. Okay, or if you are using the Mac, and then you can choose the one. Let's say if you're using the M series. Okay, so then you can choose the one DMG. Okay, or if you're Intel, so you can choose it. Okay, so once you download it, you will have two files. Okay, so installation, so you can install it. Okay, so right here should be pretty straightforward. Complete all the installation step, then you should able to get it. Okay, and right now I can um let me go on this page and then show you the workbench right here. Okay, so on my Mac, I already installed the server. Okay, and also the MySQL workbench. Okay, so that means I can use both of them. Let me quit it and start again. Okay, okay, right here. And you can create, okay, let's say if you don't have any connection, you can create your own. Okay, so when you are installing the server, okay, so they will ask you to input the password for the root. Okay, so you just need to input the password. And right here, you can, after you set up your server, you can use +, and then give it a name. I give it CSCI at 340. Okay, and then it will be a local host, and then using root, and we can input the password. Okay, and then you can save the password. And of course, you can test the connection. If you have a problem to connect to the server right here, that means you have not yet installed the server. Okay, maybe I believe it may be pretty common for a student. If you only install the workbench, then probably you not able to connect to it, and then you get the error. Okay, so if you're the problem connect to it, probably you didn't install the server correctly, or your server, MySQL server is not yet running. Okay, so you have to check it. Okay, so once you able to connect it, input the password, and there's pop because I already connect to it, so you will see the page like this. Okay. always as a first step, what should we do? I already upload the data import file. So right here, you can download it from D2L. So it's a CSCI 340 data import. Okay, so here we'll be using a name. Okay, so first we need to create the schema. Should be match the name. So if you didn't give a correct name, it will also have an error. Okay, of course you can change any use any schema name. Later I will show you. And also you need to change it. So you can use any like text editor. So maybe you can use the VS Code, or the one I'm using is called Sublime. Because sometimes when I use certain software, if you're interested, you can download it. Okay. Here's a one is called the Sublime. Okay, so right here. Okay, so Sublime 3. Okay, so here, if you want to use it, you can download it. Okay, just back to mine. Okay, and these are something because I already pre-processed the format right here and then the encoding. Okay, so if you have later, if you need to import the SQL handle the data, so remember sometimes you need to save it as the with encoding. So this time, all the example we are using the UTF-8. Okay, just make sure the charset is UTF-8. Okay, so we will see right here, we try to create the table and insert the data. So later, the exercise, I'm going to talk about the first assignment. So the first assignment, you need to put in the Word file, submit all your steps, okay, showing like installation, or like you can show me, okay, you're already able to connect it, and then create the schema. And then later, there's a first query statement is select. So you're going to select all the table contents, okay. So right here, let's go back to our workbench, okay. So we press it right here, you can see, so the new schema, okay. So we can, this schema should match with the name. So because I use it is the CSCI 340, so I changed the schema, CSCI 340, okay. And I talk about the char set right here. Okay, the character set. Maybe nowadays we are using the UTF-8 MP4. Okay, MP4, but this time we're using the UTF-8. It's okay, so you can choose the character set right here, 8. So we can apply, and you will see here is the query. So we try to create a schema, give a name before. Okay, the character set is UTF-8. Then we can click apply and then close. And let's go back. So you can see the second tab, like right next to the administration is schema. So we see, okay, CSCI 340 already created. And right now, it's empty database. So what we need to do, so you can find the option right here, server, then we can do the data import. Okay, choose the data import. The import, we will choose the called the self-contained file. So let me choose the file. So you can use the file, download it, import file right here. So here's a schema. You remember we have a target schema. So it's CSCI 340. You can choose it right here, and you can click on the start import. Okay, so you see pretty straightforward. And if everything goes well, okay, you will see right here import has finished again. Okay, so maybe you can right click, refresh, okay, and fetching. So you will get all the tables right here. Okay, so all the tables. What you need to do, like if you say, okay, all the installation you already complete, at least you should able to have a screenshot to show me. Okay, so you're able to import all the tables. Okay, and right here you can see all the columns information. Okay, so let's go back. So right now we already imported data successfully. Okay, so right here you will see one is called a query. Okay, so here is the query file. So later once you submit it, okay, so the assignment you're going to do, let's say I need to select the data, so you can use the keyword select. Okay, and then all the content from which table. Let's say I want to select all the content from categories like this. Okay, so you can just execute or shortcut. Okay, so right here you will use the first syntax to grab all the contents. Okay, so later but right here we don't have a database choose. Okay, so we will try to select it later. So let's go back to our slides in this moment. Okay, so if you already install it and then import the SQL successfully, the rest of the part will be doing assignment because we are going to meet in the class. Okay, so for the rest, I can tell you more details. And right here, we just like go back to some like background introducing, okay, about SQL or like the SQL. So it's like called the structural query language. So we call it like SQL or SQL. Okay, so we can using the SQL to access or manipulate the database. Okay, and study history. So it became a standard of the American national standards like the Institute ANSI. So in 1986, and it's kind of international organization for the standardization ISO in 1987. Okay, so we're using it until now. Okay, just remind you one thing. For the query, sometimes the syntax or some keywords will be slightly different for different type of database. Okay, so because right now we are using MySQL, if we have some kind of MariaDB, okay, or even like on different platform, okay, so the syntax, how do they support will be slightly different. Okay, so you need to be careful, but everything will on right now. Okay, the query syntax will based on the MySQL. Okay, and here's like certain functions can the SQLs can do. Okay, like for example, we can execute a query against the database, retrieve data. So we're going to do like the first part. So after we press like select, so we try to retrieve the data select right from the database, and then also like we can insert records, update records, delete, create, or like new database, create new tables in that database. Okay, also we can create some like store procedures. Okay, we sometimes can create views. Okay, also set the permissions, procedure views, all this. So we can like use SQL to do that. And later, I will give you more like details instruction, or always we can refer to W3 school. So if you don't know how to use those query, okay. And we have some keyword we can select to extract the data. So that's your first assignment. Like select all the content, show all the content using select, okay. And then we have update the data, delete data from the database, insert into. So adding data. So right here, if you look at the query, so we using the create tables and the insert. So we create table and insert all the data. Okay. And of course, we have more. Okay. By the end, maybe we'll alter certain tables and adding the primary key, okay, reference, foreign key. So for the rest, in our coming lecture, you will learn about that. But in this moment, maybe just need to know there's some exists. Okay, so we have alter database, create tables right here, alter tables, job table, okay, and create index. So you will see, and then also we can job index, so delete an index. So here's some like most important SQL commands you need to know. Okay. Of course, we'll use it later. One thing, be careful. Just try to remind you if um, if we are saying we're going to delete a record, sometimes like in practical or like in commercial level, we barely really delete it. Okay, so sometimes we just like adding more maybe one column. Okay, just showing the status, availability, something like that. So we say to like yes or no, now or like this, to showing this record is rated or not. Okay, so we are not delete any data store. Okay, so even we saying delete. So in really practical or in the industry when we design, so we barely really drop a table. We barely like to delete certain record. Okay, we just like hide. Okay, or change the status. So just be careful. Once you um if you learn cybersecurity, sometimes for the we call the SQL injection, okay, all this, so they try to retrieve all the data, delete your table database. They do in purpose, okay. But in practical, we barely do that. Just like bear in mind, okay. And also one thing, if you look at the statement right here, the query we always come with the semicolon, okay, or the semicolons. So we require a semicolon at the end of it. It's the standard way to separate each SQL statement in the database, so we can allow more than one statement to execute in the same call. So if you're going to put 10, then of course you can execute it. Okay. Let me put it right here. Okay. So, and next, you will see right here we have lots of the tables, right? So database we connect one or more tables. So each table can identify by the name. So either when we try to name a database, so for the table, okay, so it come with the pro form, okay, categories, okay, customers, employees, details, orders, products, okay. And most of the time, we don't really um care about the capitalize of first word. Sometimes they are acceptable. You will see the next slides later. So we will connect the records. That means the record will be the each row. Okay, so after we insert all the data, then we can see. Okay, and right here SQL you cannot able to see all the data like contained it, but we can use the command like to see like select. Okay, so then we can set the data. Okay, so of course we need to switch which table. Okay, we are going to use. We can see talk about that later. And then right here, if we have some like the tables, you will see like there's stored in every row. Okay, and then all the columns. Okay, so we sometimes call it attributes. So we have different name to name all this. Okay, row attributes. Okay, and each row represent okay maybe person, okay, each customer. When we design the database, later we'll talk about more details. We always giving a primary key, so we learn primary key. So we giving a unique, like the one is like unique, okay, ID to them, okay. And then here's how is the database looks like. Just one thing, I'll talk about the keywords. They are not case sensitive. Let's say if we're using select, so it's the same, okay. But depends on your habit. Personally, I like to use the keyword in capitalize, okay. So it's showing, I will tell you, okay, all these are keywords. And if I need to select certain like table names, column name, then I can use it, okay, and in the lowercase, okay. So right here you see I double click, so you see I choose the customer. Land from the customer. And later, the first assignment what you need to do is just like select all the data from all this database. Okay. I will post it after our Thursday class. Okay, so you can install it and then try to select the data. So here will be your first task. So once you execute, but so far right now this no the database step right here. So later I will show you like how to get the data. But in this step, okay, so just like telling how you can create the table, and then like you have the database, create all this table inside it, okay, import it, okay. And later, because in your exercise assignment, you need to select the data. Okay, so try to use this one. And of course, later how to create the tables, and then also maybe joining tables. Okay, or like I give you the a statement. Okay, so what kind of information you should select from the database. Okay, so that's what you need to do. And so far will be this part. Okay, for your lab. Okay, thank you.